Hi guys, welcome back to Saving Salvage and welcome back to the RS4 V8 build part 7 I believe we're up to now. And in part 7 I believe we are going to get this engine running. So at the end of the last episode guys, I've got everything in position so we can just drop the car straight onto the engine. A little bit of tweaking will be required, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And then there's just a few bits we've got to do. There's just some wiring we've got to attach. We've got to fit the inlet manifold as well. Spark plugs, coil packs, just a load of wiring at the top. And then obviously our main wiring loom, which is across, not what's down here at the minute. We'll have to install that so we can install the ECU and then we'll be able to get the car started. So, first thing we're actually going to be doing is lowering the car onto the engine. So let's crack on and get this thing going. Come on! So we're getting there. This is one tight squeeze, look. I mean, just look at the gaps that I do not even have down the sides, look. That is how tight a squeeze this engine is. And also, well, this is now my third, I think it's my third time putting this in. So, because I think if you remember the first time I put it in, starter motor was duff. So I ended up having to drop it all back out again to replace the starter motor. And then the second time, obviously, the engine did not run very well. So third time lucky, actually. She's in. That was actually, no, it wasn't that bad. I'll tell you what, I told you that gear linkage cable was going to be a pain in the arse. Near on 2.5 hours I have just spent trying to get that in. The issue is that the cable comes down from the bottom of the gear stick and it obviously comes and it goes straight to the gearbox and then bolts on. But there is no free plate at all in that cable. So the cable just was about an inch too short of being able to get it in location. And the other problem I had was the bracket that the cable bolts to the gearbox as a support. That obviously when I removed the gearbox last time, because there's such little slack, it must have bent a little bit. So I ended up having to remove it all again to straighten it out so it was nice and straight. I then tried putting the bracket on first because I couldn't get the bracket to line up. So I removed the linkage cable from the bracket, put the bracket on and then tried to fit it, and it still wasn't enough. So after a lot of swearing, crying and bruised hands, I have now done it. I ended up having to disconnect the cable from the gear lever end, which it popped out about 1.5 inches, which obviously gave me that extra little bit of room to be able to do it. I'm now going to go and have a break, and while I do, I'm going to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions of people take their next step in their creative journey. with thousands of inspiring classes for creative people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing and more. I'm currently benefiting with Skillshare by taking some of their online courses. I'm taking this course with Oliver Astrologo and he is helping me try and make my videos a bit better editing wise. I'm actually halfway through taking the video editing course. This is one of the areas that I really want to brush up on because coming into YouTube, I had no experience with taking videos, editing videos, even what software to use or anything like that. So this course is really helping me discover what works, what doesn't, and what I need to do. Skillshare has been designed specifically for learning, which means there is no ads to distract you from your online courses. It is also incredibly affordable as well, for just under $10 a month with an annual subscription. The first 1,000 people to click the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership to explore your creativity. So a big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to the RS4 and get her running. Right, I think I'm just about there. I've just had it up in the air and I've just put in all the sensors that I can find at the bottom. There is one that I can't find where it goes, but I don't know if it looks like an engine sensor, but I'm not sure. So it could go on the front. So what also connected up the exhaust as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring it down onto the ground. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some oil in it as well, obviously, and I'm also going to turn the ignition on, hook VAGCOM up, clear the faults, read what faults are left just to see if it tells me where this sensor goes or if there's any other sensors I've missed before I try and turn it over. So that is what I'm going to do now. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Right guys, moment of truth. No codes stored in the system. We're all good there. I have put about 6 litres of oil in, which is enough for the moment. Obviously the dipstick I don't have. It has a dipstick tube. However, you don't actually get a dipstick with these, you have to do it through the computer, and stupidly the engine has to be pretty much up to operating temperature before you can check it. So 6 litres is enough for the moment. I've also fitted my oil cooler on the front so we can get proper oil circulation, and I have also, what else have I done? New oil filter as well. So, moment of truth, I actually don't want to do it. I am very nervous, my heart is beating pretty fast at the moment. Right, let's go. Well, it turned over. Suppose that's a good start. Oh, I don't like this. Right, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to turn it over a few times. Oh. Oh, don't like it. Well, that ticking noise has stopped, which was the hydraulic tensioners, so that at least means hopefully I've got a bit of oil in the hydraulic tensioners so the chain is more taut. That's good. Still turning over, hasn't stopped on its own accord yet. So guys, I've turned the engine over about 6 or 7 times now. When I first started turning it over, you could hear the chain rattling at the back, which was that hydraulic tensioner. If you saw when I was building it, it was kept doing that. That was because of the lack of oil pressure, so that was my main concern. I was hoping it was that and nothing else, it wasn't defected. I did get some advice and they said, no, it should just be the fact that it's got a lack of oil. So the good news is, after turning it over 2 or 3 times, that noise has now stopped, which I'm hoping now means that the tensioner is now taut with oil pressure. So it's now turning over. It sounds sweet on turnover. So I'm now scared. I just don't want to. This has been a long time. Right, okay. I'm now going to stick plugs in it, put coil packs on it, plug them in, plug the fuel pump on, and try and start it, which I am very, very nervous about. Right, I'm going to just do one more turnover with compression, with the fuel pump still not attached. Then all I've got to do is plug the fuel pump in and we should be in business. So, penultimate turn. Right, I think we're good. If I had a heart rate monitor on right now, I reckon I'm peak. I must be a good 120 beats per minute right now. I can't think of a reason why I can't start it. Plugs, coil packs, fuel, foam. Excellent. Thank God for that. Okay, so that phone call didn't help me calm down at all. I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, you just hurry up and start it. This has been 3 months of about 9 million hours for me in the making. I am very nervous right now, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So, right, I can't think of anything else now why I can't start it, so. Feel sick. Okay, I let it run for 3 seconds. I have no idea what it sounded like, and I turned it off. Well guys, there she is running. I don't know how it's gonna come across on camera yet. I haven't obviously edited this yet, but there was a slight tapping noise coming from the engine. And it's not, no, it's not bad. I kind of had an inkling this may happen. I'll just show you. So, as you can see, look. So, obviously I was listening to the engine running. Bottom end sounded perfect. Right hand bank sounded spot on. There was an abnormal ticking noise coming from the left hand bank. Now, obviously I've turned the engine off straight away. I thought, right, I'll just take the rocker cover off and have a look. And where is my torch? And I had an inkling that the timing may not have been 100% on this bank. Purely, I can't remember now what I filmed in the video, but the main chain, if you remember, the tensioner kept slacking off and tensioning when I was rotating the engine. And that was because there was a lack of oil pressure on it, so it kept going slack and it just wasn't giving me a true reading. Now, that affected the timing of this bank because the tensioner was on this side of the engine. So this one, absolutely spot on, timed up perfectly, no issues at all. This one, it kept the camshaft. So every time I timed the cams, because the main tensioner was slack, it kept rotating a little bit, which meant this camshaft kept rotating back. And there was nothing I could do about it. No matter, I did it 3 or 4 times, spoke to some people, did everything correctly, and it just kept rotating back because of that tensioner. Now, I couldn't do anything about it, so I just had to look, it's timed up correctly when I have it, when the tension is in the correct position. So there's nothing else I can do. I'll just have to build it back up and hope that when the oil pressure gets in the tensioner, it sorts itself out. Now, it doesn't seem to have been the case because I think, if you look here, look, see that gap there, look, between the bottom of the locking tool and the camshaft? There's about, I don't know, an 8mm gap there. So that means that this camshaft, because obviously it's now flat with that one, the camshaft has rotated back a tiny little bit, leaving me with that gap in there. So the timing is out on this head, which is an inkling. I did think that may happen, but there was nothing I could do about it with that tensioner being the way it was. So kind of bad news, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a massive problem. I will have to dismantle, I'm going to have to take the inlet manifold off again, dismantle a few things at the back here and just take this cover off again. I'm hoping that access shouldn't be too bad. That's why I thought I'd just leave it and just hope for the best. But the good news is obviously the rest of the engine sounds sweet. Bottom end sounds good, right hand sounds good, that sounds epic. So I really hope, and also I've just gone into VAGCOM as well, and I have got random multiple misfires for cylinders 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that is it, nothing on this bank. So I'm confident that our timing just needs to change a little bit and then that will run sweet. So a little bit of bad news, however, if someone said to me, Dean, would you like your engine to run sweet but you'll need to redo the timing again, or would you like it to completely cock up again? I'm choosing this all day long. So it is what it is. Hopefully though, a couple of hours work and then the engine will be sweet as a nut. Okay, so I'm not sure how I feel about this. I've got to take the engine back out again. So I thought I could have sworn that I could take this cover off in situ, but I've just been dismantling it, and obviously we've got our EGR valve here, and that may not have had to come off. I could have got away with it, but there is a bolt for this valve cover here, and it just sits, let me get my torch, it just sits behind the EGR down there, so I can't get access to it, which means I've got to take this off. And I can't take that off because the exhaust is in the way, look. And I can't take the exhaust off because I have to take the engine out to take the exhaust out. So what crap engineering. I mean, they could have done something so you didn't have to take the engine out just to get this cover off, which I'm now not happy at all about. So that's kind of put a dampener on my spirits. They were sort of high because I know the engine's, well, okay at the minute apart from this bank. But now I've got to take it all back out again to redo the timing on this hand side, which I don't know how I feel about it. So guys, that is where I'm going to leave it for today's video. Good news and bad news, obviously, as you just heard. So what I'm going to do in the next video, guys, is I'm going to obviously take the engine back out, gearbox back out, subframe back out, and then remove the exhaust on the right hand side, and obviously then take the timing chain cover off and redo the timing on that hand side, and hopefully then that means the engine will be running sweet. Slightly less enthusiastic now, knowing I've got to take it out for the 4th time, but there we go, these things happen, I suppose. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and if you do enjoy these videos and you want to see more like this, then please do subscribe. I may have something very interesting I'm about to buy. It's just come to my attention and I might buy it. So as always, guys, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.